Well, hello everyone. Welcome back. Welcome to the Wellness Gala free online series, Take Care of Yourself. My name is Lee Grabarczyk of soulfulmandalas.com. I'm an intuitive channel who creates sacred geometry to enhance awareness, something like this. So anyway, a couple of weeks ago, I discussed how recent events have created challenges to our schedules and identity. Last week, I described general concepts outlining the formation of coping mechanisms that also shape our identity, or perspective, if you would. So first, a little bit more about environmental factors and how they influence personality development, because I think that, and again, the purpose of this is really kind of to look at it from an understanding and appreciation of self and appreciation of other people. So when I am growing up, certain experiences, certain, engagements, the way that I'm treated, etc., shape the way that it is that I think. Now, there is a whole thing that comes in with karma and reincarnation, etc. We're just going to put that to the side for a minute. So here I am trying to cope, trying to get through my life, trying to succeed, doing all those things, and really responding to certain kinds of cues and then deciding what cues are important and which ones aren't important. And from there, I make decisions about what is my reality. In other words, what's working and what's not working. And then these become unconscious. A lot of times when people are doing affirmation work and they're really kind of thinking about, I'm throwing this intention out, I'm really going to make this happen. And there's an unconscious part to it that's also influencing it. So if I'm raised in a certain kind of household, in a certain kind of way, those really affect the way that it is that I perceive things and perceive my own reality. So there's also in these things environment too. Raised in certain, it's just not within my context of just my own home or my own caregivers, but also what part of the country or what country I am, etc. So all of these different kinds of influences that go in create this personality. And this personality designed, as I said before, as this perfect mechanism for addressing through not just surviving, but thriving within certain environments. Each one tailored to that unique environment and each one having a specific reason for its existence. Some of the things we talked about before is maybe the environment was one where weakness was not tolerated. So it had to be tough, had to be strong. Or perfection was the only way. Perfect in every way. Or being a caregiver was the only way. Great. Okay. Or maybe being artistic. Or maybe being analytical, right? Getting a lot of information. Just give me the information and I'll figure it out. So all of these are different kinds of strategies, different kinds of ways of being. None of them are really more important than any others. But they all have a perspective and a unique view that upon reflection from oneself and other people go, oh, I get that. Or I see upon my own analysis what it is that I'm doing and why maybe I might be doing that. Not for anything, but just to let go of it. So that I can kind of let go of like my own comparison thinking. And that is where it gets really kind of rough. I'm not as good as that one. I don't do it the way they do, blah, 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 blah. No, I do it the way I do it. And because my unique perspective was based on an environment, it has a purpose as it is with everybody else, and collectively shared problem solves in a unique way that otherwise probably wouldn't happen by little old me. So each of us having this own perspective, this own unique way of looking at something, create a more powerful collective. And part of this is that when I see somebody else the way that they do it, I have to get out of my own way of seeing it, meaning that my defenses, my unconscious mind has created a reality that says this way that I operate is the only way, or this is the best way. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. But maybe that isn't the system that doesn't work for somebody else. Maybe that system isn't appropriate to that other paradigm or existence. So my system, the way that I do it, is based on my perspective. So perfectionism would say there's only one way to do it. But the truth is, does it work? And if it works, why not? And there's many, many ways to solve a problem. So all of these kinds of attachments, if you would, that go into the creation of personality form certain kinds of symbols. There's like a way of presenting. So if I'm a perfectionist, I'm going to come in, I'm very neat. maybe neater than this, but neat. Or maybe I'm coming in from, I'm an achiever. I come in with a certain kind of achievement. And it's reflected in, symbolically, in the words that I choose, the glasses that I wear, clothing, what it is that I do for a career, what it is that I do for a pastime, my aspirations, the way that I present, period, right? My style of communication too. So all of these are symbolic. Every single thing could be seen here as symbolic. And these symbols create with them a communication style that just sort of radiates out into the world. So me, in my conscious awareness, know some of what I'm doing, but my unconscious awareness created from this an enormous amount of history may not be clear about what's going on. Yet it is shown in what it is that I'm creating. The fact that I'm manifesting certain things is a testament to the unconscious desiring, or the unconscious kind of law of attraction, if you would, that is pulling to me these different kinds of experiences. So that is one of the ways in which that I'm then learning. So my symbols, right? What color is your parachute? My symbols, my manifestations act as a law of attraction. And what does it pull in? People who share the same perspective. Or people who share the same kind of subject matter of intensity, the same kind of interest, if it would. Maybe, maybe my thing is, maybe I might be in the area of passive-aggressive, then I might attract an aggressive person. Or maybe hyper-masculine person, I would attract a super-feminine woman or super-feminine person. So these are these attractions, these energies that connect other people really are done unconsciously. So who I have in my life is a direct reflection of what it is that I'm about in that moment. If you want to have some fun, ask someone to describe their pet, for example. It's a real window into their personality. Or I can see, what kind of friends I have. That's a window into personality. What kind of love interests I have. Who it is, what kind of different kinds of affiliations I have. These all reveal personality. And the reason that they reveal personality so powerfully, and the reason that they actually are so incredibly important, is they are a life lesson into what it is that's going on for me. So I would assert that what we pull towards ourselves isn't just what works in the world. In other words, when I choose a romantic partner, for example, it isn't like that person represents some kind of ideal of what it is that I'm about. I might think that. They might be familiar from an unconscious standpoint because of the way that I was raised and what happened to me in childhood. But, hello, I give a little hi there. But what's really going on in the process of this is I'm attracting that person who shares the same kinds of issues. If I were, again, drawn to everything that works, I would be drawn to everything equally because everything works. But if I'm choosing a specific person or a specific personality, that is how I learn about myself, through the reflection, through the attraction and reflection of that person. That's how I kind of connect. I can see in them what it is that we share in common. And even if it does seem completely different on the outside, there's still all of these component pieces that really show, wait a second, we're both having an issue with this thing. Maybe we have an issue with intimacy. Or maybe we have an issue with certain kinds of communication styles. Or sexuality. Or maybe with problems with prosperity. Or whatever it happens to be. All of these things are bringing us to certain people so we can learn from one another. And what a great gift that is. And the tendency is to say, oh, that person is so horrible. What do they know? They're not like me. I'm not like... But I attracted them. If I look at my relationships and I look at my patterns and consequences in my life, that is a revelation not about them, but about me. What is it that I am creating and manifesting in my life? And if it's something that's working for me, great. Why not? More. Thank you. But if it's not, then I can look at it and I can say, aha, this is a pattern. I need to look into this. Because what it is that happens is that the attraction from childhood, the attraction of the unconscious mind, this law of attraction that is so beneath the surface of most of our experience, is just constantly pulling to us certain things, constantly drawing to us. And it's not that we're bad people. It's not that we did something that, something wrong. We simply were operating out of a modality that may not have been very effective, and life in all of its kindness was kicking back to us, this is what you should work on. This is what you should address. So when it goes to conflict or some kind of challenge or disagreement or problem, one of the things that's really important for me is to reflect on it. What is going on in my pattern of thinking? What is it that's happening in my own thought process that I continue to manifest these things? And that's where it really kind of gets interesting. So I have this, all of these symbolic actions going on unconsciously, the energy, if you would, in which I'm creating this, right? Even the physical form is itself a testament to what it is that's happening in my life. For example, if I have an illness, the body not only is a tool of communication to the outside world, is also a tool of communication through symbols back to me. I notice that maybe I have something where my vision is less. These are symbolisms. You can see this through Louise L. Hay. But the body is a symbolic representation of whatever it is that's going on, because the body, being a truth teller, is a reflection as it lies on top of consciousness. And then there's layers to this. We talk about that later. But this is actually a reflection of some of the stuff that's going on symbolically for me. For example, maybe I have a problem with trust. Well, I might have gastrointestinal issues. I might have some kind of, problem of digestion of experience. Or maybe I have headaches when I think about certain things because I'm punishing myself for what it is that I said. Or maybe I said something to somebody that was so horrible and all of a sudden my neck is tight. Or maybe I'm not really seeing around and looking at things from a different perspective, and my, all this, and my shoulders get tense. And people will say, "Well, it's a problem." No, it's something to look at. Like, oh, I get that. This is something that I don't take a pill for it, but I'm looking at it. Not that it doesn't need to be addressed, but I'm actually looking at it from, oh, this is where I am right now. Got it. So these kinds of physical symbols that go on, and the connection to other people, and expressed through all of these fascinating ways, are so incredibly omnipresent. So in different studies, just to kind of show the genius and the encompassing nature of this, there are whole studies that actually look at personality through the body or through experience. Palmistry, phrenology, big head, iridology, the shape of the eye, reflexology, dealing with the foot. Even within our auras, we can see it. So we have all of these different communication tools constantly telling the truth of where we are, whether or not we want to own up to it. In a very real way, we are naked to the world, and that's great. And for many people, they feel that they can hide behind, and if that's their belief system, then that's great. If that's what they want to think, that's great. The truth is, I would assert, we are transparent. And the reason, and I say that, is everybody is being perceived through their communication, and everybody in a certain way is then being evaluated as such. And that's okay. The challenge is to not have judgments limit us in such a way. This is why this is kind of built upon understanding where people are coming from and not judgment. So that we don't have judgments to say that's a fixed thing. It's just where they are now. The deeper part of their consciousness is something that they can continue to develop as through reflection upon the kinds of patterns that have existed in their life, that they look at and say, oh, you know what, I'm going to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to take that bit of energy that I had that was being a little stubborn, and now I'm going to use it for enthusiasm. And I'm not going to pull that towards me. I'm going to kind of create that. And that is really, really powerful. Because, from a physics standpoint, physicists talk about this. They're trying to come up with theories about what is the common element to all reality, from the most micro standpoint, from a single plank that's the smallest measurement that exists, to the most macro, the universe. And what they assert, string theory is kind of like lost favor, is that everything is symbolic. Everything is imbued with a kind of a purpose through these small parts of consciousness that create these like coding systems that then go out and fabricate our reality based on our intention and our unconscious and conscious belief systems. We are constantly manufacturing our reality from that. And when we look at our lives and we kind of step back and really reflect upon it, and we really put our intentions into something that we want, slowly, even the unconscious mind and the most resistant part of consciousness actually starts shifting. But this is why Buddhism and other kinds of studies are so incredibly disciplined, because our thoughts, driven by unconscious defensiveness and a need to define and say, this is who I am that this, not this. These separations of thought, these kinds of defended nature, this is hard to give up. Because once we give this up, we become vulnerable. Or we can say, oh my goodness, I've been making a mistake all my life. And I believe the phrases, would you rather be right or happy? Can it shift? Everything is in flux, everything is in change. And everything, I believe, is an open system, meaning that all of us influence one another. So I'm being influenced by other people, other systems, and I am influencing them. And the power of our own thought and our intention, especially when it's imbued with empowered with a sense of passion, intention, desire, has incredible strength to it and can shift in an amazing amount of energetic patterns and can radiate out from self into the universe in a very influential way. I used to have a vocal coach who would say to me, when you sing into eternity. Your voice, your thoughts, your actions, all fabricating your experience and also contributing to the overall energetic system that creates the universe, of which each of us is an essential part. We are, in a very real way, I believe, source energy. So, thank you very much for this time. Really enjoyed it. And I will be continuing on next time with some stuff regarding belief systems, and also a little bit about how they affect